Mario and Luigi, the most iconic platforming duo for Nintendo since the early NES days. From 2D into revolutionizing 3D to RPGs. How does that work? Well, Square Enix found a way to make Mario and RPGs coincide with the Super Nintendo classic Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. A game I'm not talking about today since I didn't do an LP of it, nor plan on doing one since it's been done to death like 64 anytime soon. Well, maybe one. Regardless, after that game, Paper Mario eventually was made for the N64, but then Game Boy Advance owners were treated to a new RPG. However, instead of it being Mario and some other characters on an adventure, it actually stars Mario and his brother Luigi, believe it or not. Finally, Luigi's earning a spotlight in an RPG instead of either not being the game at all or doing anything particularly useful. Now, while being a turn-based RPG based on, the stats and all that, it has its own unique mechanics to make it stand out more. For example, in battle, Mario and Luigi's actions are assigned to one certain button throughout the entire game. Mario's the A button, Luigi's the green button. Another addition is that you have timed hits just like Paper Mario, so you have to pay attention to when you do an action, then perform a timed hit so you deal maximum damage every time. And if you're very skillful at the game, you could even escape all battles without taking damage. Each brother has the same use of commands: solo, bros, items, and escape. The commands are pretty obvious for RPG standards, but bros is your main source of abilities throughout the game, where the brothers do actions together that require you to push the timed buttons correctly in a certain order. Each bro's skills has 3 levels. The higher the level, the more difficult it is to execute perfectly. Level 1 and 2 cost the same, but level 2 removes the slow motion, which makes you wonder why they even bother having that in the first place. When you feel confident enough though, you can do level 3, which you won't get button prompts but quick flashes of a color and no slow motion, but you reduce the BP or bros points consumed, which rewards those who have learned the skills thorough. Another thing to take note of, if you use bros moves more often, they will eventually learn an advanced version, which can deal even more damage than usual, but it's a lot more difficult to pull out the first few times you use it. Now, while in the battlefield, the brothers are assigned to their fixed buttons, outside the field is a completely different story. See, the Game Boy Advance only had A, B, L, R, start, and select, so they were limited to how to handle field actions, so they used the switching mechanic. Sadly, this is more so of a drawback than it is a benefit, because it can get pretty tedious going through an area and switching between bros for a certain field action, and trust me, it only gets slightly more annoying the more moves you learn. And on top of that, sometimes you'd be so used to a brother being assigned to the reverse button, like let's say Luigi's on the A button now on the field, but then when you get thrown into battle, you're back to the B button, and sometimes you can forget about that. However, the trade-off is, for learning all these field moves, that's also how you learn your bros commands. So it's a bit of a fair trade-off. In the end, this game is very solid, even if it's just a bit aged in some areas, and it makes you appreciate how much more advanced the later titles have become. I'd say it's worth a pickup on the Wii U's Virtual Console, or if you have a 3DS lying around and want to play this, you can actually purchase the remake of this game, which, in my opinion, not only has a better visuals, but also has some minor tweaks in the mechanics to make things more simple. But as I said, this has been a great game, and I've had a fun time let's playing it. And now, I'll see you in my next review of Being Rivals of Aether on Steam. Take care.